For decades, luxury cars all used to be the same. Big saloons with lots of wood, leather, tech, and power. But that's not the case anymore. These days, you'll get the top level of opulence in all sorts of shapes and even prices. Hey guys, I'm Stype, and this is my list of the most incredible luxury cars ever. But first, remember how long Top Gear was on the air? Anyway, I wanted to watch some older episodes, and the BBC iPlayer was like, "No, you can't. You're in the wrong country." Oh yeah? Click, click, bang. Did you see what I just did? Using the Atlas VPN, I changed my IP and a DNS number to whatever country I desire, essentially changed my virtual location. This way I can access BBC content that's otherwise geo-locked. Works the same way with Netflix or Disney Plus or Hulu or others where you pay for the service, and they lock some content away from you. That's not right. It's also cool that all my traffic is encrypted, so no one can salvage my information and sell it on the dark web. If they try, all they get is this. Atlas VPN is available on all the popular platforms, and get this, you can now have it for 86% off.
What?
It's a 3-year deal for just $139 per month, and it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Try it out. Go watch some old Top Gear or something. Encrypt your data, but be quick because this deal won't last long. Atlas VPN. The link is in the description below.
Number 7.
Luxury is often manifested as gross excess, and I do mean gross. Like this mansion with 20 bathrooms, or this yacht with 26 bedrooms, or this SUV with 8 screens, 36 speakers, and a few time zones between the front and the rear lights. It's the Cadillac Escalade, the king-size luxury SUV. You can't really tell how big it is in the photos, so let me give you a sense of scale. That badge up front is the size of a human face. Those tiny wheels are actually 22 inches, and that ginormous body fits 7 bulky seats, with enough leftover room for a large trunk, too. This size created an interesting problem. People can be so far apart that they can't hear each other talking. So Cadillac introduced something called the Conversation Enhancer, which plays your voice through the speakers so that the third row can hear you as well. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the captain speaking. You kid, in row 3, please stop beating your sister. Mommy doesn't need that right now in her life. I mentioned 8 screens before. There are 6 of them up front, and the other 2 are the largest in automotive history. You can connect 2 PlayStations to them. Even the driver can sit back and relax thanks to the Super Cruise, which is the best autopilot system on the market. It's like having a digital chauffeur of sorts. So yeah, the Escalade is excessive, but in the world of 1%ers, that's what luxury often is.
Number 6.
The Rolls Phantom is, according to most reviewers, the finest automobile ever built and the best luxury car in the world. But it's not the build quality or the exoticness of material that shines the brightest. It's the unmatched level of comfort that sets this thing apart. Nothing else in the world compares to the absolute serenity and tranquility of the Phantom interior. There are some 300 pounds of noise-insulating material tucked in all over the place, and even the silent seal tires are specially developed just for this car. The self-leveling air suspension simply glides over any pothole, and the V12 engine is so smooth you can balance a coin on its edge while revving it. Now imagine how much of that vibration you'll feel on the back seat. Even the gearbox is synced to the GPS system, so it shifts before there could be any jerkiness due to a hill climb. Being inside the Phantom is like overdosing on morphine. You're just taken out of the world. You feel nothing. You hear nothing. Nothing. It's almost spooky. Another insane aspect of the big RR is its list of ridiculous options. From the 44,000 colors on offer to the headliner that can show off the star alignment from the day that you were born, and this dashboard area designed to show off your commissioned art piece. The possibilities to spec a unique Phantom are truly limitless. Or you can just buy the base spec without any options. That would be a one-of-a-kind Phantom as well.
Number 5.
Let's admit it, part of the appeal of a car with a prestigious badge is seeing all the envious faces who can't afford it. It gives you an ego boost, makes you feel better about yourself. But this feeling does come at a price. So what if you're not a snob? If your self-esteem doesn't come from others being envious of you? Then the Genesis G90 is for you, a rival to the full-size German limos that's actually built by Hyundai and comes at a 40% discount. Does this mean that the G90 is also 40% worse than the S-Class? No, absolutely not. The build quality is top-notch, and the materials are too. The 5-liter V8 is lazy by design, but will get you going if you step on it. It's a proper luxury car with no compromises. Now, I'm not going to say that the Genesis is better than the Merc, but it's also not so far behind as the price would suggest. And for that price, the G90 comes better equipped as standard. The optional extras may be fewer, but are less gimmicky too. That Mercedes night vision? When did anyone use that in a real-world scenario? All in all, the Genesis is an excellent luxury car with an incredible price. Forget about paying a premium just to have the prestigious badge. Don't be a snob. Be better. Be a hero this society needs.
Number 4.
Most of the cars on this list are meant to be driven by a chauffeur. But damn it, if you're paying 6 figures for a car, wouldn't you want to grab the steering wheel and drive it yourself? I would. And for that, there's no better luxury car than the Bentley Conti Convertible. A car made for crossing the continents with great speed, but in style and comfort too. You might be thinking just because this is a 2-door that it's not quite as posh as the rest of the list, but you'd be wrong. This is still a Bentley. Just look at that interior. Look at the diamond pattern on the seats, on the dials, and switches, and even in the headlights. It's so bling that you should be careful about showing it to your girlfriend. Yes, I will! And have you ever seen a central display cooler than this? Not even 007 has that. As for why you'd want to be behind the steering wheel, well, it's a convertible, which means wind in your hair and a 12-cylinder sound in your ears. That's a W12, by the way, making 660 horsepower, and it sends it all to 4 wheels, which results in 3.5 seconds going to 60. It even has a drift mode. Imagine 2.3 tons of luxury eating its tires. Yeah, the Conti may be from a royal family, but it knows how to party.
Number 3.
The electric version of the S-Class, the EQS, is currently the best car Mercedes makes, and that is a fact. Sure, it may look like a placenta after birth, but there's a good reason for that. Aerodynamics. It glides so effortlessly through the air that there's barely any wind noise at all, and when the engine makes no sound whatsoever, even that is something you start to notice. Also, being so aerodynamic helps the range too, up to 400 miles on a single charge, Mercedes claims. But as with all luxury cars, it's the interior that wows the most, and the EQS will surprise you even if you daily drive the Rolls. Take a look at this. It's like being in Steve Jobs' idea of heaven. All plushy, white, serene, with pulsating ambient lights, and a 56-inch hyperscreen that controls more tech than you'll find in an Apple store. There are 350 sensors in this car, which allows it to drive itself, but many of those sensors are there to also monitor you. In case you're feeling sleepy or depressed, the car will set the ambient lights, sound, temperature, and even aromas to improve your mood. Now, I don't know about you, but the EQS would care about me more than my mother does. And they say that love can't be bought.
Number 2.
And then there's the Toyota Century, the antithesis of everything you'll find in every other luxury car. Remember those 44,000 color options in Rolls? Well, Toyota offers only 4. Rolls and Bentley often engage in a pissing contest about who slaughtered more cows to make all those leather interiors, but in Toyota, you'll find seats covered in fabric. Most luxury cars are opulent and to some point show-offy. Toyota is subdued and incognito, and none of this is bad. First of all, this car is made for the Japanese market only. You can't buy it anywhere else. And even there, it's so expensive that only the richest can get their hands on one. Mostly CEOs or the emperor himself. Those people are not what you'd call extravagant. They don't like to stand out, and the Toyota Century will make sure that they don't. Thus, the boring exterior. As for the colors, there may only be 4, but they come in 7 layers, and they're hand-polished until they're as reflective as a mirror. The cloth interior is made of the finest wool, just like the most expensive suits, and in Japan, they prefer this because leather makes squeaky noises. There isn't much tech either, and the little that there is could be considered outdated. Or in other words, it's been tested in other cars for years until Toyota is sure that it won't malfunction because this car is not allowed to break down. So if you haven't figured it out by now, luxury means something else in Japan.
Number 1.
There's the sort of person who looks at this and thinks, that's not luxurious enough. I want the extra opulent Maybach version. And then there are people who look at that and think, yeah, but can you make it more like a private jet? And that's the story of how Maybach Pullman came to be. Probably. But seriously, this thing is the closest thing to having a private jet on the road that there will ever be. Just look inside that stretch body. There are 2 super plushy reclining seats that massage you in 6 different ways. Everything is button operated, like the closing the doors, or unfolding 2 extra seats, or talking to your driver.
What's up? What's up?
There's a cooler and a pair of champagne glasses made of silver in there. There are blinds all around you and a privacy glass separating you from the driver. Couple those with that big screen and you know what that means. Or instead of beating your meat, you can beat someone's face. This Pullman is very popular with the dictator kinds, and there's certainly enough room inside to make someone disappear. Speaking of dictators, there's also the so-called Pullman Guard, which can survive bullets, grenades, and even a bazooka rocket. It's like turning on the invincibility cheat, but in real life. And that's beyond luxury. And now, 3 more incredible luxury cars. Did you guess them? What incredible Luxo cars would make your list? Right down below. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.